People assume the hardest part about being an attractive woman is dealing with unwanted attention. But the bigger problem is becoming somebody else's emotional regulation system, and it happens so gradually that you don't notice until you're already exhausted. Let me define codependency correctly first, because most people think it just means being clingy or needy. It's about emotional overfunctioning. It's when one person's emotional stability starts depending on another person, and one partner ends up responsible for keeping the whole emotional climate steady. Love slowly turns into caretaking. Go ahead and subscribe because I'm about to explain why this happens to women who get a lot of attention specifically. So, why does this show up so often for women who get a lot of attention? A big part of it is conditioning that starts early. You're expected to be warm and approachable and pleasant, and there's real pressure on you to keep every interaction comfortable for everybody else. You're supposed to smile, you're supposed to soften a rejection so the man doesn't feel bad. You're supposed to be nurturing and easy to talk to. And that expectation follows you around from the time you're young. And that conditioning gets reinforced two ways, through reward and through punishment, which is what makes it stick. When you're accommodating, people call you sweet. They tell you how easy you are to talk to. You get more social approval and less friction, and things just go smoother for you. But the second you set a boundary or turn somebody down, you're suddenly stuck up. You're arrogant. You're cold. You think you're better than everybody. So you learn pretty quickly that managing other people's emotions is a whole lot easier than dealing with their reaction when you don't. Beauty doesn't cause codependency, but it does make codependency more draining. And here's why. You've already been doing emotional labor all day before you ever got home. You've been reading men's intentions and figuring out who's safe. You've been de escalating awkward encounters and managing other women's jealousy and staying aware of your surroundings and making sure you're not sending a signal you didn't mean to send. That's a full day of work, and you haven't even walked through your own front door yet. And then when you get home to a codependent relationship, which means instead of finally getting relief, you inherit somebody else's emotional regulation on top of everything you already carried. Now you're providing constant reassurance and managing his insecurities. You're preventing arguments before they start and monitoring his mood to figure out what kind of evening this is going to be. So you don't get to recover at home either. You're working there too. And some partners aren't attached to you so much as they're attached to what being with you says about them. You become their validation, their status, proof that they're desirable. Their whole sense of self-worth gets tangled up in the relationship. So now you're not just regulating his moods, you're propping up his entire identity. And that's a job you never signed up for when you agreed to date him. That's usually where the jealousy and the possessiveness comes from too. When a man's confidence is built on having you, then anything that threatens that connection feels like a threat to who he is. So he starts asking who's texting you. He wants to know if anybody flirted with you today. He needs constant reassurance that you still want him, and all that reassurance is really just him managing his own anxiety through you. Eventually, you're handling everybody's emotions except your own. His feelings, his family's feelings, your friends, your coworkers, and if you have kids, theirs too. You're the one keeping everybody else steady. And meanwhile, nobody is checking on you. And you usually don't even notice that until you're completely depleted. And somewhere along the way, you stop asking yourself what you want. The question stops being, do I want to go to this, or do I even like this person? And it becomes, how is everybody going to feel if I don't? You're not checking in with yourself first anymore. And after enough years, when somebody asks you, what do you want? And you have to stop and think about it, that's because you haven't asked yourself that question in a long time. And this is the part that sneaks up on you the most. Codependency starts shrinking your world. You stop posting online because it causes problems. You stop going out because it's easier than dealing with the mood afterward. You change how you dress, turn down opportunities, stop traveling, and you explain yourself constantly, and you start making decisions based on what won't trigger conflict. And you'll tell yourself you chose all of that, but you didn't really choose it. You're just avoiding a reaction. Now think about what that does to your nervous system, because I talked about this in my last video. You're already overstimulated from managing the outside world every day, all day. Then you come home and there's no relief there either. So you never get to fully power down. And after enough years of that, you start mistaking burnout for what being an adult is supposed to feel like. But you're just a woman who hasn't rested in years. And this is the part that explains why you might not recognize the problem even while you're in it. Over time, you stop seeing it as something you do and start seeing it as who you are. You're the strong one. You're the emotionally mature one who doesn't need much. You're the fixer, the calm one, the person everybody comes to when things fall apart. And when that becomes your identity, walking away from the role feels like losing a piece of yourself. So you hold on to it even when it's draining you because the alternative is not knowing who you are without it. Let me tell you about my ex husband. He was emotionally volatile, and we could be sitting there just cracking jokes on each other. And mind you, he was always the one who started it. But the second I said something back that was just as funny, now all of a sudden I'm being insulting and offensive. We were just joking. If you can dish it out, but you get butt hurt when I hand it back, that's a you problem. And then the whole conversation flips into an argument, and I'm sitting there like, how did we even get here? We were cool 5 minutes ago, and now the temperature in this house is spicy because you found a way to be miserable. And that's what he did. He would go out of his way to find a reason to be unhappy. At the time, I was trying to be understanding about it because he had a rough childhood and all this other stuff. But looking back, damn near everybody had a rough childhood. I had a rough childhood, but everybody isn't an asshole and codependent and out here trying to regulate their emotions through another person because that's not what I signed up for. I get into relationships to have a good time and enjoy somebody's company. I'm not getting into a relationship to have a sparring partner. And I've noticed a lot of men do this. They take the same energy they use with their boys, all that back and forth bickering, and they bring it into a romantic relationship like it's supposed to work the same way. There's nothing sexy about arguing with me about nothing. And then he wants intimacy right after. Sir, you just made the entire house tense with your emotions and now you want to be touched? Absolutely not. When I'm overstimulated, I don't want to be touched. Don't talk to me. I want to be left alone. But the codependent type will get upset with you for putting any distance between the two of you, even though he's the one who started the whole thing. So he's dysregulated. He's trying to pull me into his dysregulation. And when I try to regulate myself by walking to another part of the house, now he wants to follow me and keep the argument going while I'm trying not to engage. And that relationship is the reason I decided I'm going to be single for the rest of forever. I'm not getting remarried. I don't want another boyfriend. The most I'm willing to do is date for fun. And most of the time, it's one and done because these men are emotionally insufferable and they assume that because I'm a woman, I'm supposed to manage that for them. I'm here for the same reason you are, to have a good time. I'm not here to babysit your emotions or make you feel good about yourself. And people love to act like women stay in these situations because they're weak. But that's rarely what's happening. Usually it's the opposite. You stay because your empathy is high and you want to help him. You feel guilty, you feel responsible for him, and you believe love is supposed to require sacrifice. You're afraid of hurting somebody who says he needs you. The very qualities that make you a good partner are exactly what keeps you stuck. So, what does the healthy version look like? Is two emotionally responsible adults who support each other without one person's stability depending on the other. Boundaries get respected instead of triggering guilt trips, and independence is encouraged rather than treated like a threat. In a codependent dynamic, one person is holding both of them up. One person's emotions runs the whole household. Setting a boundary makes you feel like you did something wrong, and your independence feels dangerous to your partner. And codependency rarely destroys you all at once. It drains you slowly. You lose your peace, your identity, your energy, your confidence, and your freedom. And by the time you notice, you can't remember who you were before you started managing somebody else's emotional life. In a healthy relationship, both people know how to carry themselves, so neither one of you ends up carrying the other. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever been in a relationship where you were doing all the emotional heavy lifting? Share this, like it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Take care.